Hello, everyone, and welcome back to yet another Webinar Wednesday. One of my favorite times of the week. I'm sure a lot of you would agree with that. Today is actually my last day checking in with you guys from Turkey. I'm going to be back in sunny South Africa by the time we meet again next week. And as always, I'm joined here by Bilal.
How's it? I thought you're going to introduce yourself with a bit of a flair. This is Talha Katrada reporting from Istanbul.
I'm working on my showmanship a little bit. Cool. But yeah, today we have a really interesting topic, a really important topic. And this topic actually came about when I was having a conversation with Bilal. And it's all about marketing yourself online, establishing this online presence, and in that way bringing more business to either to yourself or to your company or whatever it is. We're always talking about digital entrepreneurship and how it's the way of the future. So it's critically important for every single person working in the online space to know how to get the word out there on the internet. I mean, it's a huge place, and there are millions and millions of potential customers and potential clients passing through every day. So it's important to know how to position yourself, where to position yourself, and how to create a big enough noise to draw attention to yourself and attract an audience. So every time you put something out there, there's people on the other side waiting for it. So I'm sure everyone watching doesn't need me to go too in depth about why I chose to interview you for this interview. I mean, for anyone who doesn't know, Bilal is not only successful CEO of several online brands, he also has an incredible online presence, primarily on TikTok. I mean, all his TikTok page has a few million views combined, and his, best performing videos, what are like on almost 600,000 views at this point?
Close to that.
Cool. So it's really quite an achievement. And I mean, like I said, I wanted to tap into some of that. I wanted to find out how I can set up my own pages and our company pages to get them to that level. And so who better to ask than you,
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, it's a question that I get asked often, right? People who are thinking of starting a business, the first question is, okay, I want to start a business, whether it's a service business like web design or graphic design, or selling a commodity. So for example, I've got this item, it's a really good item and I want to sell it, but how do I get clients? And really that's the hardest part about business, or the part that most people feel is the hardest part. And really it's not as hard as people imagine. The most important rule to remember is the moment you start your business, in fact, before you start your business, start putting yourself out there. I was reading an article about this lady in the US. I forgot her name and what she was selling, but on day one of opening up a business, of going on sale, she did $1 million in sales on day one. Now, people will think, well, how can that be? The answer is she didn't start on day one. For 3 years before that, she was building up an audience, and telling them what is coming up, what they can expect. She built up that tension. She built up that exposure. She built up a loyal following. And those people were revving now with their money, their hand in the purse, waiting to spend that money. And the day she opened up, there we go, $1 million in sales. Now, if I had to go back, if I had a time machine and I had to go back in time with my business, I would have done it exactly like that. I would have first started putting myself out there. I would have look, I did do it to an extent, no doubt, right? But I would have done it a lot more, and I would have, I would have really built up an audience of 250,000, maybe 500,000 across different social media, and then boom, I would have dropped my first product, and I would have sat back and watched the, the fun as it sells. So rule number one, start putting yourself out there. Influencer marketing is still a big thing, but I say to you, don't go to other influencers, become the influencers. Even if you're a mini influencer, but that is still something. Keep putting yourself out there, keep putting your brand out there. Do not be afraid. And what's great about social media is that you don't have to do videos. You can do any type of content, whether it's text, whether it's tweets, blogs, videos, audio, graphics. You can put out infographics, what suits you, put it out, but put out. That's my first advice to anybody, whether you started or you didn't start your business yet. Start putting yourself out there.
So yeah, I'm definitely guilty of not following that rule. You know, I'm the type of person, I've got to think about things 100 times, got to make sure it's all perfect. And until that point, you know, I'm not going to be comfortable with putting it out there, because I mean, let's be honest, it's kind of an intimidating thing. It's a scary thing, putting yourself out there on the internet with, you know, where thousands of people can view it, especially if it's a video. So I think that's an important bit of advice.
It is intimidating at first, but you need to weigh it against just being idle in your career, weigh it against doing no sales, being broke, being miserable in a job that you don't like. Weigh it against that, and then see how it feels. I think that's thought enough to motivate you. Don't focus on the difficulties and the fact that you're shy. Focus on the long-term strategy, and that's what will get you out there.
Cool. Okay, now rule number 2, your second commandment when it comes to marketing yourself online.
So my second rule as far as marketing yourself online is show, don't tell, right? Now there's many different variations of this. Show, don't tell. You know, in Hollywood, in the showbiz, they tell you show, don't tell. Don't tell me how good your product is, right? Show me how good it is, or how good you are. So give me a second, there's just a bit of noise. Zach, that dog is making a din. Yeah. So, right, let's go back to the top. In the second rule, the second golden rule is show, don't tell. Don't tell me how good you are, or don't tell me how good your product is. Show me. So if you're a web designer, don't send me an email saying I can design a website for you, it'll be so good. Show me what you have done. Show me the websites that you have built. That's one of the things at IDVarsity we get every student to do. While they are students, we get them to build actual solutions so that when they go out into the world as professional developers, they can show those projects that they built on GitHub, on their website, on their portfolio websites, and in that way they can get clients. And then when it comes to, it's actually much easier with digital products, right? So for example, if you've got a course, you can give people limited access to the course and let them try it out for themselves. It's a little more challenging when it comes to physical products. So for example, if you're selling a pair of sneakers, or if you get into the sneaker business, but there too you can show and not tell by getting testimonials of clients who bought your products and letting them speak about how good your products are, either through a text message, you know, just copy and paste your screenshot where they responded and say, I love these sneakers, they are so comfortable. Or ask them to make a video if they're comfortable, or make an audio if they're comfortable, or take a picture of them putting it on if they're comfortable. You know, this is a very strange experience I had when I met a young entrepreneur in Johannesburg. She was doing sports goods, right? She had her own brand, And I asked her, are you on social media? She says, no, I got no time for that. I'm running a business. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding
Yeah.
me? You got beautiful clothing that you are creating in your as part of your brand, and you're not on social media. You should be paying influencers. You should be paying models and sports people to wear those and take photos and put those out. That is the best marketing. You know, I was reading about the Adidas series of sneakers. It was called, I think, I forgot the name. But anyways, Adidas came out with a series of sneakers, total flop. And one day, somebody noticed Kanye West wearing that on stage, wearing that sneakers on stage. And immediately that failed sneaker just shot up in sales. And it launched the whole company into a different level. I know they had a bit of a fallout now, Adidas and Kanye. I don't know, I think he's got a new name or something. These artists just keep coming up with different names. But the fact is, just the fact that he wore those sneakers on stage catapulted it into millions of dollars in sales, and really took the whole company to another level. So there we have it. Show, don't tell. That's the second golden rule.
And I think, I mean, even if you're not marketing yourself online, that's always a golden rule to live by when you're in business. I mean, just to give you an example, if I, as a business person, or any business for that matter, is looking to hire, let's just say, web designers, and you get one guy that comes and talks for 20 minutes or half an hour about what a great web designer he is and what qualifications he has and what technologies he uses, you know, and says all of the right words. And then the second guy comes in 5 minutes, just opens his laptop, shows you what kind of websites he's built, closes his laptop and leaves. I mean, it's
No
not even going to be close who the business is going to choose.
No competition. In this
Exactly.
world, in this fast-paced world, it's all about what you can do.
Cool. Now, when it comes to, and this I think will be your third commandment, when it comes to what kind of content to put out there, I mean, whether it's videos or blog posts, what kind of content do you put out that attracts people and keeps them there?
So the type of content you put out is entirely up to you and your personality as an entrepreneur. No one should tell you that you need to put out this or that or that or that. There are entrepreneurs across the spectrum who did every type of content and they found success. I mean, I was reading about an entrepreneur called Justin Welch. You guys should check him out on Twitter. This guy only posts tweets on Twitter, and then he does the screenshot of that almost, and he puts it on LinkedIn. That's it. No videos, no graphics, no fancy long form, short form videos, nothing, just tweets. He puts out tweets, and sometimes he puts out those, what do they call them? They call them threads on Twitter. It's one tweet after the other, and he just gives out entrepreneurial advice. And he's built up an audience of 380,000 followers on Twitter. And he does like, last year he did $1.7 million in sales just by putting out tweets. So find your medium that you are comfortable with and put out your content. Now, why are you putting out this content? That's very important to remember. You know, most people, they stop and they think, well, you know, so many other people are putting out the same content. Why should I do it? Who's gonna listen to mine? There's no need to. The point is not that. The point is not just for the audience. It's for you more than anyone else. It's to establish you as the expert in your field, to establish you as the thought leader in your space. So put out content that establishes you, but also gives value to the people listening, and build up your own audience. Because, I mean, yeah, sure enough, there's a million other people that are doing the same thing, but you will attract your own audience, and you'll see over time, you'll start building up an audience of people who are loyal to you, who find you the most interesting of all. It's just the way people are. You don't expect everybody to gravitate towards one person. People like variety. So be that,
Mhm.
that little bit of variety and put out what you are comfortable with. If you are comfortable with videos, go for it. But if you have a face that's more suited to audio, go and put audio. If you are good at, if you prefer writing, write it. And today it's gone so easy with tech like ChatGPT. You can have it generate ideas for you and even create the first draft for you. But don't fall into the trap of using ChatGPT for everything. Use it for the basis of your tweets or your blog articles, and then let and then add your own flair to it. If you prefer working with emails, there's a massive market there also. So it's so great. There's so many different types of media that you can use now. But then you also have to remember that the topics that you put out need to be somewhat aligned to your product, right? So you can't, for example, you can't be selling an exercise program, a fitness program, and put out tweets about I don't know, gardening. They're just not related. They're just not related. You have to do something that is closely aligned. So for example, with us, we do tech courses, right? We do software development, web design, app development. So we put out that type of content also, everything technology related. So that's another thing to remember. But choose your medium. That's the most important thing, and get yourself out there.
Cool. And I guess also the key would be to, I mean, the way I would simplify it for everyone is just post the kind of content that you would want to see, that would compel you to follow that page or subscribe to that channel, because that means, I mean, if you like that kind of content, other people are going to like it too. But if it's a page that you would just scroll past, one that just posts adverts or boring posts, then you're not really gonna gain an audience from that.
Yeah, and also one very important thing you just got my mind there. That is, be authentic about what you do. Be you. Don't try to be someone else. Don't try to be. Don't try to channel another person. Be you. That's what people want to see. And even though, let me just add to this, right? Even though I said you are doing something on fitness programs, don't post only on gardening, but bring your gardening passion in it also every now and again. So for example, I speak about tech all the time, but I'm also passionate about other things like coffee. I'm very passionate about coffee. And now and again, I put out a video about coffee. In fact, I should put out more videos about coffee because I'm quite good at making different kinds of homebrew coffees for my own enjoyment, for my own pleasure. I'm not a professional barista or anything, but I'm good at that. So that shows the world the whole you, that they get to know all about who you are as a human being, and that's what they love. That's what people will love, and that's what will get you the following.
Mm-hmm. So that would be rule number 3: creating valuable content that aligns with who you are and what you do.
Correct. That's the beautiful, concise way of putting it.
Cool. Guys, I'm learning a lot so far from this webinar. I hope you are too. If you have any questions, by the way, let us know in the comments. Type it into the chat. And yeah, you can get some one-on-one advice while we're here. Cool. So to summarize it, I think so far we have 3 rules. Number 1, just start putting yourself out there. Stop thinking about it and stop trying to be perfect, but get started, even if you don't have a business yet. Rule number 2 was show, don't tell. Show the world what you're all about, because they say a picture speaks 1,000 words. And I think it's no different in this scenario. And then rule number 3 was create valuable content that aligns with who you are and what you do. Rule number 4, enlighten us.
Rule number 4. Okay. It's very important to find your audience and network with them and engage with them. Now, I'll tell you why this is important, right? Too many people put too much of reliance on the algorithms to do everything for you, right? You'll see these people on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, they talk about the algorithms. But the trouble with algorithms is that algorithms keep changing, and they work in a sort of a roulette kind of format. So today they'll give you light of day, tomorrow they'll give you someone else. The next day they're going to give you give it to someone else. So don't become overly reliant on the algorithms. And that's why I say your content needs to be authentic. Build up a loyal following of your own. So even if the algorithms change, people will still seek you out. Your audience will seek you out and not wait for the algorithms to recommend you. That's very, very important. And how do you do this? How do you build up an audience? Number one, you have to identify, and this is a bit of an exercise everybody has to do. Identify who you are looking for. Who is the right audience that you are looking for? Who is the right customer you are looking for? And where they are, and what language you speak to them. And I don't mean language in the sense of English and or another language. I mean, even within English, what kind of lingo and technical terms are they familiar with? So if you are looking for example, coffee enthusiasts, then you'll talk in terms of different types of coffee and grinders and different brewing methods. If you're talking tech, it'll be something else. If you're talking clothing, it'll be something else. Build up that audience around you that talks your language. And then, identify that and then go and look for them. Go and look for them online. This is painstaking, hard work, but go and look for them. So for example, if you are a coffee enthusiast, one of the world's best known coffee enthusiasts is a guy called James Hoffmann. Now go and follow him on YouTube, put out comments, reach out to him, speak to him, maybe try to get him on one of your content pieces that you put out. I mean, this guy is a megastar. Obviously, it's going to be harder, but you can find people that are, more up and coming. So in doing so, in identifying these people, you are also identifying the type of people you'll be interested in, and you can attract them towards you. You can create some noise within that. You don't only create noise through your content, you create noise through your interactions on other people's content also. So for example, if you go on James Hoffmann's one video and you put out a comment about something that he said, people will start to notice, they say, who's this guy? This is a very interesting comment, and they'll go and check out your channel, and then they'll find your videos. So do that. And finally, network in the real world also. Wherever you go, have a business card and talk to people about the content you're putting out. If you're on YouTube, talk to them about your YouTube channel. If you're invited to speak somewhere, speak about your YouTube channel. Make sure that your friends, family, everyone knows about you. Because those people, you might think, well, that's a small number of people, relatively speaking, but that small number is what will get the algorithm to notice you. Because the moment you put out and people start liking your friends and family, maybe you've got 50 or 60 followers, but suddenly in the first few minutes, the algorithm sees that you got 50 or 60 likes and engagements on your content, boom, that thing will catapult you, because the algorithms like that. They're looking for engagement. They're looking for how engaging you are, because that's what the whole objective is. So that's my advice. Keep finding the right people, build up an audience around you, even though it's a small audience, but make sure it's a loyal audience. And finally, whenever they comment on your posts, reply to them, show them love. Don't leave it like that. Respond to every comment if possible, unless it's something like, very generic. Like on my TikToks, I get very generic comments, things like very good. So on my best case, I'll give them a like. That's it, But then you get others that sort of put out some really interesting, thought-provoking comments, and then I will respond to that. So respond in a way that you think is appropriate, but respond. That's very, very important.
So I guess to summarize, it would be identify your audience and then engage with them. Don't be a spook that shows up, posts, and then disappears off the face of the planet. Get involved.
I'm guilty of that. at times. I must admit, but I got so much
I mean,
going on in my life.
yeah, it is a time-consuming activity, but I guess it is worth it. And engaging not just with your audience, but with your potential audience as well. You know, find where they are and try to bring them over to your page.
Absolutely.
And speaking of engaging with our audience, we have a quite a thought-provoking message from Bashira. So she says she noticed that on her TikTok when she posts pictures of her products, that or when she just shows her products, she doesn't get much views and much likes. But when there's a video of her talking and explaining about the product, then she gets a lot more engagement, a lot more views, a lot more followers. But she's still kind of nervous about doing that kind of thing.
Yeah, the thing about being nervous about something is it's like that for everybody. But when you do it frequently enough, it becomes second nature to you. And Bashira's hit it on the head. I mean, people buy from people. People trust people. People don't trust products and people don't trust brands unless it's a very, very well-established brand like Apple. But think about how Apple established itself through Steve Jobs' personality, right? So he was the mascot of the brand for decades until he died. And then after that, the brand had reached critical mass. It had reached a point where it was a trusted brand and everybody recognized and loved the brand. And so they don't have much trouble selling. But even then, when they do their launches, they bring out their whole executive team to present all the new and latest gadgets and tech that are coming out from Apple. Why do you think they do this? They do this because, again, people follow and trust people, not so much brands. So my advice to Bashira is keep doing it. And the same advice to all of you, be there, be in front, be the spokesperson for your brand. Otherwise, you're not really an entrepreneur. You need, in today's day and age, in today's noisy marketplace, you absolutely have to do this, or you're going to be out marketed by someone else who is doing that.
Okay, and we are almost out of time, so let's jump into commandment number 5. I think that's all we'll have the time today. Yeah.
So rule number 5. My advice to anybody that's putting out content, especially if you're starting off, but also when you are established, is always test a hypothesis, right? Don't be afraid to try new things out. So, for example, you've been putting out a certain type of content and you find it's not doing too well. And then suddenly you put out a type of content and it does well. Now, when that happens, double and triple up that. Keep putting more and more and more and more of that, of the same type of content, until you've squeezed every drop of juice out of it and you see nothing is on a decline. Then you look for something else. So when it comes to marketing, keep trying different things. And that's why they say, Gary Vee is a very big proponent of quantity over quality, because quantity gives you more chances to try and get it right. Now, let me give you an example, right? If you are playing, not playing basketball, but if you are trying to get the ball into a hoop and I give you 3 tries versus I give you 100 tries, in which scenario will it be more likely that you'll get the ball in the hoop? Obviously, it's more likely the more tries you get. So with 100 tries, there's a greater likelihood of you getting. So in the same way, the more content you put out, the more chances that you are going to get one that's a big success, or might even go viral. Next thing you know, you got 1.5, 2 million, 3 million views on your video, and suddenly your brand is launched. That's very, very important. Keep putting as frequently as you can. If you can do 3 times a day, good. If you can do 2 times a day, good. But at least once a day, put out some kind of content, and keep measuring and keep trying different things. Keep trying different things until you click. So you're testing, they call it testing a hypothesis. You think to yourself, okay, today I'll put out content about artificial intelligence in the workplace, and then put it out, see how it does. It does good, put more. It doesn't do so good, tweak it, and be scientific about it, because that's what's gonna guide you. If you can't afford to use tools like, I don't know, like Hootsuite, which does most of this work for you. Use a pen and paper or an Excel spreadsheet to keep track of your topics and the success rate of those topics. I promise you that data will become extremely valuable as your number of your content actually grows.
Lovely. So the final commandment for today is basically try everything and see what works, and then keep doing more of that. I mean, and to continue that analogy with the basketball, I guess throwing a basketball 3 times, you're not really going to learn much. But if you throw it 100 times, you're going to figure out what kind of technique, what kind of wrist movement you're doing, where to stand, and you know, which position gives you the best results. So you're going to learn a lot about throwing that ball from throwing it 100 times. And I guess it's the same thing with posts. After you make 100 posts, you're going to learn a lot about what kind of content works and what doesn't work, and learn a lot about yourself, how you what kind of content you are comfortable with, what kind of flow you have.
Yeah, it's actually basic statistics, right? The bigger your sample size, the more accurate your findings will be. If you do a survey with 3 people versus you do a survey with 3,000 people, obviously you're going to get more accurate, fine-tuned results with a bigger data set like 3,000 people. So give yourself that advantage and put out as much content as you possibly can. Don't be like me.
Or worse, don't be like me. I've been thinking about posting for I don't know how long now, but I just haven't gotten down to it yet.
Find your passion, run with it.
But I honestly think I during this session, I learned everything I needed to get started, and you know, all the worries that I have been put to rest. So yeah, subscribe to my and follow my pages, and you're going to start seeing some things soon.
Wait and see.
Cool. So doesn't look like we have any questions coming in, but a lot of appreciation. I think this was a topic that many people enjoyed. A lot of people saying they've learned a lot.
Okay, don't forget to like and subscribe, and also follow us on other social media. Just go and search for my name, Bilal Kathrada, whether you're on LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. I don't know what else is out there. Yeah, I'm across the board.
Cool. And yeah, don't forget to share it as well. I mean, if you appreciated this content and you think anyone you know, whether they are a varsity student or not, would you know, benefit from this, send it to them. You know, spread the love.
Great stuff.
But yeah, I think that's going to be it from us for today. Thank you all so much for joining us. We hope you learned a lot. I hope you enjoyed the session, and yeah, we'll see you guys next week.
Looking forward. Bye.